To NILI Chanuka Sparks. The famous machlokas in the Gemara between Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai regarding how we light the Hanukkah candles has a very important lesson that we can learn for our life. What's the machlokas and what's the lesson that we can learn? Beit Shammai says that we light eight candles the first night, then 7, and we decrease until the last night when we light 1. And Beit Hillel says that we light 1 the first night, 2 the second night, and we increase until we light 8 the last night. The Gemara concludes that we follow Beit Hillel, and in fact, we all know that we light 1 the first night, then 2, then 3. And one of the mnemonics of Hanukkah is Chet Neirot, the halacha kebeit Hillel, that there are 8 candles and the halacha goes by Beit Hillel. So the question is, why would the Gemara bother to mention what Beit Shammai says if we don't follow it? And furthermore, the Gemara goes on to give reasons why Beit Shammai might have said what they said and why Beit Hillel might have said what he said. And the Gemara highlights a reason, and what do we learn from that? The Gemara highlights a reason for Beit Shammai's saying that we decrease the lights by saying that the candles on Hanukkah correspond to the 70 bulls that we brought as sacrifices on Sukkot in the Beit HaMikdash. And we brought 13 the first day, then 12, then 11, and we decreased them until the last day when we brought 7. What do the bulls have to do with Hanukkah? And Beit Hillel says that we ma'alin bakodesh ve'in moridin. We raise up in holiness and we don't go down. So what does all this have to do with Hanukkah, and what can we learn from this? So Chazal teach us, our rabbis teach us, that 70 bulls on Sukkot relate to the 70 nations that are our enemies, and we want to decrease our enemies. So we have 13, then 12, then 11. We decrease them because we want our enemies to be decreased. And Rabbi Yisrael Miller, in a gift for Yom Tov, says that Beit Shammai also was considering the main miracle of Hanukkah, as the war that when the few Jews beat the many Yevanim, and we're thanking Hashem for destroying our enemies. We start out with a lot of destruction, the fire of destruction, and we have 8 fires, and then we go down each day because we need less and less destruction as time goes on because our enemies are decreasing. Just like in Sukkot, our enemies are decreasing, so in Hanukkah, our enemies are decreasing. But Beit Hillel does not consider the war as the main miracle, but the Nes Pach HaShemen, the miracle of the menorah, the light, which represents the light of Torah in the spiritual darkness of the world, and how if we wait to just destroy all our enemies from without and within before we start adding our light of Torah and mitzvot, we're never going to be done. And so he says we have to put a little bit of light in the spiritual darkness and keep increasing and adding and adding and adding. And it's just a different attitude toward life, the way that Beit Shammai felt that we need to focus on changing our negative inside and outside, the negativity that's in the world and the sins and the Yetzer Hara and the negative character traits and the flaws. And we have to focus on that and changing it and destroying it with the fire. Whereas on Hanukkah, we really do need both aspects. We do celebrate the Nes of the Milchama, the war, and also the Nes Pach HaShemen. And in fact, the candlelight halacha does reflect that, because we actually, unlike Shabbos, when we can just turn on an incandescent light and make the bracha, and that light can count as our Shabbos candles, for Hanukkah, we can't do that. We need to light a fire because we need both aspects, the fire of the destruction of our enemies and the light to signify the Nes Pach HaShemen and the menorah. So even though we do need both, the focus is, as Beit Hillel says, the focus is on ma'alin bakodesh ve'in moridin, that we are increasing the holiness and we're not decreasing it. And it seems that Beit Hillel was not ignoring the fact that we need to destroy our enemies and get rid of our negative traits and all the things we need to change. But it seems that the way that they felt that that can be accomplished was by increasing the light and adding the positivity to the world. So this year, when we have Hanukkah, which the shoresh is chinuch, education and training, are we going to rededicate ourselves to focusing on the positives in our life and appreciating all the good that's around us and increasing that positive? Or are we going to focus on the negative and all the things that we want to change and the people we want to change in our life and focusing on all those negative things and thinking that we're going to be able to change it somehow through focusing and putting our energy toward that negativity? Or are we going to do it by noticing the positives and increasing all the positivity? Remember, ma'alin bakodesh ve'in maridin. We increase and raise up in holiness ourselves and our families and all of Klal Yisrael. Chanukah Sameach.